Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And I have a special place in my heart for this woman here. Her name is Pearl, I think Pearl Davis. The first time I ever heard of her or saw her podcast, she had Nick Fuentes on, and I didn't know who Nick Fuentes was. So I was introduced to both of these two at the same time, and I was, she has a modern woman's take on what's going on with the world today, and she gets killed. People kill her, because she's tall and she's kind of plain Jane looking. I think she's a nice looking girl. She always sounds drunk though, and she sounds drunk in this. I'm not saying she's drunk, but she always has a way of speaking, kind of like that, ditzy white girl way of speaking, But she came out today or yesterday with a podcast, or basically a rant of how she's had enough of the blacks, and she's had enough of feminism. She's come out against feminism. She said that women are too promiscuous. She believes that she's kind of on the fence on a lot of things. She's not pro-marriage, but she's not. She condones it, and she wants to see more people getting married. She tells women who want the guy who makes $500,000 a year, which is obscene, that's the only type of guy they'll marry. She'll put them in their place. But she's kind of like, she's more on the good side rather than the bad side. Now, I've seen pictures and I've heard rumors. Of course, people, when they insult her, they always bring up the fact that, and I'm alleging that she might have dipped her toe in the mud a little bit, so to speak. I don't know if that's true or not, if she had a black boyfriend or not. Who cares? It's hopefully she's learned her lesson from that. But she goes on a rant here about how ungrateful blacks are and how ungrateful white women are. This is more, oh Jesus, this is more based on the blacks, but she brings up the point of white women and how white women take white men for granted. And she's absolutely true. So let's hear a little bit from Pearl here. We're not going to do the full 15 minutes, but we'll do. Look at her; she looks so high. We'll do about 10 minutes, and we'll react.
Very tired, exhausted. We are so freaking exhausted. Black people in the nicest way possible. You guys have really exhausted all of white people's charity. White people are very charitable. We are the most charitable people on the planet. And I don't say this.
And that's the weakness of white people. We care. We want to help. We want to be there for you. Fuck that. Those days have got to be over. They have to be over. Because there's no gratitude there. It's now entitled, it's expected, and it's more and more and more. You're not giving me enough. My EBT card, I'm gonna riot if you don't give me my EBT card, because that's mine. It's my money. It's utterly ridiculous. Sorry, Pearl.
With hate in my heart. But I don't know a single white person that has routinely helped black people on a regular basis that hasn't gotten burned from it or given black people opportunity. I don't. They always steal something or call you racist, or and I mean this with love. I don't mean this in a mean way, but white people are fatigued. We're exhausted. We are tired. We are so tired. Borrow money, they don't pay it back. White people have done a lot of good for society, and I think that's very much overlooked.
White people are the only ones who have done good for society. Give me another race of people. Give me another group of people. And I mean, maybe I shouldn't generalize, but for the most part, 99.999999%, it's been white people. Who feeds these blacks, these Ethiopians, or these blacks in sub-Saharan Africa? They're all white people. The Peace Corps, they're all white. Who goes and rescues kids in burning fires? They're all white guys. These firefighters are all white. Who does the charity work? The Catholic Church has the largest charity network has been the largest charity network in the history of the world. Not Protestants, not Baptists, not Jews, forget about Muslims. None of those other ones. The Catholic Church. Western civilization, particularly from the Mediterranean, has done nothing but assist the world and drag the world into the 21st century. And all white men get, and it's white men, and all they get is shit for it. I've always said that I would love for an experiment to happen where, Elon Musk takes every white male from the age of 15 to 60 and puts us on Mars for like a year. So we can build Mars and colonize it and make a utopia there, and then bring us back to Earth just to see what the Earth is like. It would be an absolute disaster. Because if you think black men can run, or Hispanic men, like you think these Mexicans or any of these other groups of people can run engineering stations, nuclear stations, can just build economies and keep societies afloat, you're out of your fucking minds. Western civilization is a white male creation. Republicanism is a white male creation. There is 4 gifts that God gave us: Western civilization, republicanism, the Catholic Church, and white heterosexual Christian males. Those 4. You take one of those 4, 2 of those 4, 3, or all 4, this world goes back to prehistoric age. Pearl's not even in.
Because my entire life, I would always hear about how evil white men were and how white men are just the root of all evil. And the interesting thing is, white men have always been the most charitable to me. They like white men. And especially if you talk to a really smart white guy, they're like a different breed of human. They can fix anything. They can think through any problem. They don't get angry. I mean, why do you think women, they go for like the Daquans, Tyrese, the drug dealer black guy? It's because, it's too boring dating a white guy.
So maybe she's being tongue-in-cheek here. The reason why is because women don't want to have high standards anymore, and they're high standards for themselves. Women want to be sloppy. They want to be slutty. They don't want to have the responsibility of bringing children into the world, creating a home. So they date the Daquan or the Lamonts or whatever the fuck you want to call them. Because those guys aren't expecting anything. They're just expecting pussy. That's it. That's all. Suck me off and give me some ass and I'm out of here. The problem for these white girls is that sometimes they get knocked up. And where do they go? They go right back to the person who they betrayed and humiliated. They go right back home to their dad. Because now they need somebody to help them raise that child. That black child. It's not biracial. He's black. Or it's black. Whatever you want to call it. Him, her, whatever. And that's why I have said over and over, a million times before, and I'll say it a million and more times later, white women are the cancer of Western civilization. They will put a white man through hell because that's what women have within them. He will buy her a home. He will get her the car, take her on vacations, give her the clothes, the dishwasher, the refrigerator, all the bullshit she wants. The minute he turns his back, she'll bang her Negro karate instructor. So why get married? Why go through this shit? Why? And from what I'm seeing, the statistics are showing that white guys have given up on dating, which is a catastrophic error on white men's parts. But you can't blame them. These bitches are out of control. They are a cancer. They bring nothing but horror to a man's life. Sorry, Pearl.
He's going to be so stable. He's just going to get things done. They're so positive. Like, they're just naturally positive people. White men. And I'm not saying white people don't have their problems. You know, I could really talk. Oh, I could talk about white people's issues, you know. White men don't have the ability to tell their wife no, pretty much ever. They will assist in their white wife's, you know, they're yes guys because they're too busy.
That's not the reason. White men just want peace. So if they're at work, and she's going to say that they're too busy working, when they're home, they don't want to deal with the bullshit. And women are emotional. They're logically inept. They look for drama. They cannot live without drama. They must have some sort of conflict in their lives to function. Like a shark always has to move. Women need drama and aggravation. They have to have that. They must have that to survive. And men just, you know, after a while, it's like, yeah, just do it. Just go. Yeah, no problem. I'll take care of it. And that's why a lot of guys get walked over. And they're not considered a challenge anymore. Whereas the black guy, the Hispanic guy, the Indian guy, whatever you want to call it, the loser, he's seen as a challenge because he's foreign to her world. He'll call her a bitch. And she'll be like, uh-huh. Try seeing a white guy, a husband calling his wife a bitch. She'll be in divorce court, or she'll put a restraining order on him. A black guy smacking a white woman. Listen, I worked in domestic violence offices. I've seen it. These white girls come in with black eyes, busted up lips. I can almost guarantee what color fist was that caved in her face. And they all say the same thing. It was my fault. I mouthed it off to him. But the white guy, oh no, he'll go to jail. He'll go straight to jail. White men are seen as, like she said, convenient. Not a challenge, not a sexual object, not a loving object. A convenient object. That painting on the wall that covers a hole in the wall. That's what white men are seen as. Old, reliable. And we have to stop that. Unfortunately, it's just within us. We build, we create, and we destroy. But for the most part, we build and maintain. Women don't want that. They don't want a happy structure. They want chaos.
Busy working. Why do you think the black women are like, we're going to try to swirl? There's this new trend of black women dating white guys because white guys are so chill. They're just chill. All they want to do is just work. They want to work. You know, you ask a white guy, like, what's his social life? He'll say social life. That's for, you know, and I don't mean this. I think white guys could actually benefit from this because if they had more friends and of a social life, they could at least, you know, bring other women around to piss off their wife and maybe get her in line, you know, put some fear into her. So I'm not.
She's got a very good point there. You know, when I was married, I was never available to my ex-wife. And she loved me even more. And I will be very honest with you, I cheated on her left and right. I'm not cheated because I never got caught. But I made the conscious decision to never be too available. You cannot be too available to somebody. Otherwise, you're going to get taken for granted. And when you get taken for granted, you become boring. You can't always be there for people. You have to keep people at a distance. When she calls, hey, I'm busy, honey. I'm doing something. I'm learning something. I'm working on something. Now you become a priority. Now you're something to look forward to. If you're there all the time at her beck and call, You ever see when if you have a dog, the dog always comes up to you and sniffs you and wants love from you because that's all they do is they love you. They're the most loyal beings God ever created for us. But what do? Sometimes we just push them away. I don't do that to my Reese, of course not. But sometimes we just push them away because they're just always there. They're always there. You got to think the same way with women. Women see you like that. It's unfortunate. It's fucked up, but it's true.
I'm not saying white people are without sin. We are, but we've acknowledged white people's sin. We have, we've acknowledged it. Okay, you've told us. Okay, don't forget it. It was a white man. Dad, I know what race you are. Dad, sorry, unalived your leader. Dad, really? You can't that, here we go. And I don't mean this in a mean way. I think at some point, all these reaction channels are going to come at me. I just can see Abin Preach nagging me. I just see it in my future. The OSHA. I just see them coming back to nag me because they got nothing better to do. Even if we go into school, let's see, because that's always they say, what percent of mass shooters are white? I'm grokking this, so take it with a grain of salt. 50%. So we're actually less percentage of mass shooters. Like we're 60% of the U.S. population, according to this. And we're a lower percentage of mass shooters. Black people, I'm sorry, you guys still are double. You guys are 20 to 25%. You're 13% of the population. For your size, you're still double. You can't come out. We're below what percent of the population we are. You guys are still double. Even, it's crazy. Even when you point out a white crime, you've still managed to outcrime us.
And that's the beauty of it. They're 13% of the population. They cost this country an estimated $6 trillion in welfare subsidies. $6 fucking trillion. We lost 600,000 white men in the Civil War just so they can move into the northern cities and destroy them. And yet, it's still not fucking enough. And I'm going to tell you, it will never be enough as long as we're available to them. James Monroe and Abraham Lincoln were correct in their assessment that blacks can never live with white people. They were never meant to live with white people. Even during slavery, they had their own separate quarters. Segregation had their own separate areas. They were never, ever meant to live with us. And that's why those two presidents wanted to send them back. But the smart blacks said, no. We want to stay here with Whitey because this is Shangri-La compared to what Zimbabwe's like. We don't want to go back there. It's a disaster. And they were right. Show me a functioning African government, a thriving functioning African government. You can't.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's the mass shooters are red herring because when they're trying to do gun control, they count gang shootings, which are overwhelmingly people of color. And everyone's going to get mad at me. Now, I've told this story before. I'm going to tell it again because this was just such a canon event for me. It really was. When I was in England, I had probably at one point I went at 100% black staff. And to be honest, guys, I've said this before. I have a lot of love for black people. There are things that I love about black people that are just so much better than white people. And I can riff. I could go back and forth about both races. I think black people are funny. I think they're way funnier than white people. If I ever want to go.
Poor Pearl has never hung out with Dagos. She's probably hung out with people just like her, milquetoast, run-of-the-mill Nebraska corn-fed white people and they are fucking boring. They're not the most exciting people in the world. She's got to go to a New York giddy neighborhood. That's what she's got. She would be overwhelmed. And they would fix her hair.
Go to a party, black people are going to be the most fun. Like if I do street interviews, they're always more willing to do street interviews. What are, there's just an energy. A lot of them are high energy, and I'm high energy. So they're, it's like a big ball of fun, but they can never stop at the fun. They're saying sex offenders
there we go.
are disproportionately white. Is it going to be over what percent we are of the population? What percent? It could be. I'm going to find out today. Of what are the demographic breakdowns? Sorry, Doug MPA. You guys still are double for your 13% of the population. You are 25 to 30% of the sex offenders.
Jesus Christ.
We're about white consistently shows 50 to 60% of sex offenders are white, which is about what we are of the population. Hispanics are low. I guess you guys are not sex offenders. Good job, Hispanics.
Well, they don't report
Good
it.
Job. It's so crazy. I can't even talk about black crime without having to talk about white crime. It's like women. We can't ever talk about women. And then I'll debunk it. I'll go through and say, let's see, is it a higher percentage? Now we're getting into serial killing. Well, how common is serial killing? Is that even that's the most rare crime of all the crime. They're like, white people dominate the very most rare crime. Sorry, if you're in a white neighborhood, nobody's really afraid you're going to be sex offended or you're going to get serial killed. That's just not a normal fear. It's not, I'm not trying to be mean about it. I'm not trying to be rude about it. But, at some point we just have to be honest here. We just have to be honest. If I'm in a white neighborhood, I am not afraid I'm going to be serial killed. The black serial killers didn't get caught. I don't know. I'm not a crime.
Black serial killers.
All I'm doing is chat GPTing. So, this is just what's on chat GPT.
Her hands are enormous. I think when she was a basketball player, a volleyball player, or something, she's over 6 foot tall. She's like an Aryan Nazi dream. She's this is a Hitler Youth girl here.
Yeah, I guess the Hispanics, criminals are a minority of all races. What percent? I'm just curious. What percent?
Check this out.
Of black men have committed a crime by the age of 20.
Just curious. Give me a number before she comes up with it. I think you're going to be shocked.
25. 50. Oh my God, that's so much worse than I thought it was going to be. It's now 50% of black men have been arrested by age 23, including all types of crimes. 60% of black men have been arrested by age 25. These are arrest rates, not convictions or actual criminal behavior. Now, again, and I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be rude here. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying. White people, we have our problems too. But just my entire life, I just have witnessed black people take advantage of people's kindness. I think we have had one too many BLM riots as a people.
She goes on a rant here, but I think you get what she's saying. And she's right. It is, kindness is mistaken for weakness, and that's got to stop. I live by a church, a Catholic church, and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they have one of those food pantry things. Do you know how many Jews I see on that line? And I'm talking about the ones with the curls, Hasidics. Do you know how many Mexicans and blacks I see on that line taking food from old white people? Most likely donated by other white people. It's too much. It's too fucking much. The charity has got to stop. It's just got to stop. Otherwise, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. It's like spoiling a child. When that child grows up, he's going to be an asshole. This is what we've done. This is the I hate to say it's the fault of white men. I've always said it. It's the fault of white men. We allowed this shit. Let's be nice. Let's be cordial. Let's help these people out. They'll adapt. They'll blah, 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 blah. It never fucking happens. And it never will happen. And this doesn't just go for blacks. It goes for Jews. It goes for women. It goes for Hispanics. It's going to go for any of these other foreigners that are coming in here. If you're too charitable, if you give too much, they stay and they expect more. And it's just not sustainable anymore. We have to start thinking about ourselves. We have to start being selfish just to preserve what we have left. What's left? We have nothing left. Well, we do. We're still good. But the Western world is in peril right now. And we have to understand that, and we have to come to make some tough decisions over the next 50 years of how we're going to handle this. And white women have to come on board and say, hey, listen. And I know the percentage, the statistics say that white women are the least likely to venture outside. There's enough. There's enough who do. There's enough who have interracial babies. I don't understand what they're thinking. If you look at all these statistics, 92% of black male, white female marriages end in divorce. White women who are in relationships with black men are, I think it's in the 70s or 80s percentage of being victims of domestic violence and single mothers. Show your daughters these things. Can they be that stupid that they just don't care? If you went into an airplane to go skydiving and the skydiving instructor said, hey, listen, honey, you got a 92% chance that this parachute's not going to open. Are you still going to fucking jump? I guess most white women would, because they believe that they can fix them. I saw a guy on TV once who said, he's a controversial guy, who said that white women go for black men because they're easier to manipulate and control. I kind of believe that. I kind of don't. I think Pearl was on the money with the whole white men are too dependable thing. I think it's a little bit of a combination of both. But white men have got to stop being generous. Stop being so available. And white women, you have to keep your legs closed. This whole hoification of society, you are the top of the totem pole. And you're soiling yourself with indiscriminate sex with all races. It's just got to stop. I don't know if it will. And there are so many stories now of white guys just giving up. And you heard Pearl mention that the black women are trying to go after white guys. Most white guys don't want black women. And these white women who have these babies out of wedlock, these black babies or Hispanic babies out of wedlock, they killed their chances of finding a high value or high character man. They will find a low character white man. Without a doubt. We've seen it. We've seen videos of these simpy fools who come home to their beautiful wife, their hot, sexy wife, and there's two little black children running around the house. Those aren't his. How does he go? What does his father say? How does he take these people to his parents' house on Thanksgiving or Christmas? And how do they sit there? How do the other relatives don't kind of side eye him? What the fuck is that? I don't know. I don't know anymore, people. Just be careful out there. Be careful who you give your life to, because you only have one trip around the museum. Don't waste it with the mud shark. And that's my 2 cents. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Be careful out there, my friends. Satan is always busy. We know. Be a man, have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. We'll see you later.